Showtime. All right, we are live, everyone. So my name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. Welcome to a new and crazy school year. I know some teachers have joined us in the end of August as we've done a few last-minute programs, but this is sort of our official start, the day after Labor Day. So welcome back to class or not class or wherever you might be joining us, everyone. We're so excited that you guys can join us either live on camera, on YouTube, on Facebook, and more. It is so thrilling to start off another official year of Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. Again, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. We've got over 40 programs this month alone, which is crazy. We've got our Backyard Bio initiative. We've got a lot of great new ways for you to explore and engage with the natural world and with some amazing speakers from around the globe. Today, I am really excited to welcome back Daniel from the Toucan Rescue Ranch. So, Toucan Rescue Ranch has been one of our longest standing partners. They were one of our big groups that we partnered with for the Global Biodiversity Festival in May. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, you should. It was amazing. And they do such great work rescuing, rehabilitating, and re-releasing injured animals in one of the most unique and incredible ecosystems in the world. So we're going to dive in just a minute and learn more about sloths in particular, which are every bit as cute and wonderful as you expect. Before we dive in, a few quick notes. On our YouTube and Facebook page, let us know where you're joining from in the chats. We'd love to get a sense of where all the teachers and families are tuning in from. And if you want to take part in some interactive polls, share questions, and upvote your favorites, go to slido.com with the event code Toucan. So the event code Toucan, you'll come in, you can share your questions there, and we'll have polls throughout the entire session. So with that said, and without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today, Daniel. And I'm going to turn it to you to take us away. Thanks so much, man.
All right. So hello, guys. Just like Jesse said, my name is Daniel. I'm a biologist here at Toucan Rescue Ranch. I'm also in charge of the education program, and I'm the lead tour guide. I've been here for more than 4 years. I started as a volunteer, and now I'm an employee of this amazing place that I fell in love, and hopefully you guys will fall in love as well. So now what I'm going to do is that we're going to switch the camera so we can see the sloths are right in front of me. Today we're going to see the 3 finger sloths. So let me just do that. There you go. All right. So just give me 1 second. Perfect. So over here we have the 3 finger sloths. Like Jesse was mentioning, Toucan Rescue Ranch is a rescue center. So we are not a zoo. That means that most of the animals that we have here are going to be released back into the wild, or the ones that we received. That's around 50 to 80% of all the animals that we received are released back into the wild. Actually, today, we are releasing a 2-finger sloth. There is a different species than this one, and we're going to talk about them in detail in just a minute. And so, yeah, our main focus is rescue, rehab, and release of the animals. They come here for many reasons, but they're from 2 sources. One of them is regular people that find the animals injured, and the other one is from MINAI. So MINAI is the environmental agency or the police of Costa Rica, the environmental police, and they are the ones that confiscate the animals because it's illegal to have wildlife pets in Costa Rica. So they take them away, and then the previous owner will get a fine. Sometimes they can even go to jail if the case is too bad. Let's say that they have a lot of birds in their house. So we receive them from those 2 sources. But today we're going to focus on sloths because they're just adorable, as you can see. They're just amazing. And today we're going to see both species that we have here in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, we have the 2-toed and the 3-toed. But here in Toucan Rescue Ranch, we like to call them 2- and 3-fingered. Now, you might be confused for a moment, but I'm going to explain you why we call them like that. So all species have 3 toes on the back, as you can see, but the difference is going to be on the front. This one is a 3-fingered, so the difference is right there. And later we're going to see a 2-finger sloth. So you will see that not only the fingers is the main difference, but also the hair, how they behave, their diet, where do they live. They have a lot of differences. So this one right here that is going up, this is Luna, that means moon. And it's kind of hard to tell because she's moving quite a lot, her head. but she doesn't have her right eye, that eye. And it's because she got hit by a car with her mom. Sadly, her mom got killed, but thankfully she survived. So she's in here in rehab, and she's going to be released back into the wild. When they come here, they need to go through a whole process that we like to call preschool, high school, university. And when they get to university, they're released back into the wild. Sorry, by the way, by the background noise. Those are the macaws. They're over there in like on those enclosures, so they're really, really loud. And within that, it probably is gonna rain really soon, so they get excited with the rain. Um, and then over here we have Eclipse. So Eclipse is another three-finger sloth, and she's a bit more active than Luna. She's more of an explorer. She goes on the ground sometimes. She will go on this ropes that are designed for them. So just as she's doing, it will resemble like a vine. So they're in this rehab area where you can see that is limited or surrounded by this metal fence, so that way they cannot escape. So we can just leave them here in the morning, check them every now and then. And then when it rains, we bring them inside because they're babies. So these guys, they are around 6 to 8 months old around. And they will reach adulthood when they're around a year and a half. And so this is the perfect rehab area for them, because as you can see, they're moving on the trees instead of just like in like in a cage. Obviously, when they're way tinier and when they're babies, they stay in a smaller enclosure because they're small, and obviously because there's a risk for the of predators just going around. But in this case, they're big enough, and there's a lot of people around, like volunteers, obviously with their mask on. So that way we can check them out every now and then. Now the three-finger sloths, they're actually herbivores. So they mostly or folivores. So that means that they mostly eat leaves. So these species of sloth, they will only and mostly, pretty much mostly, eat guarumo tree. So the guarumo tree is a tree that is pretty much located everywhere in the country. So it's kind of like grass, pretty much. It's everywhere. So these guys can specialize in that because there's so much availability of that food. And then the two-finger sloths that we're going to see in around 5 to 10 minutes or less, they eat another type of diet that we're going to go into that in when we get there. Also, the three-finger sloths, they have 9 vertebrae, so they have 2 extra vertebrae on their neck. So that will allow them to rotate their head. So as you can see over here, they can rotate their head. So see? So they're pretty much kind of like owls in the sense that they can just turn their head and see what's around them. But here's the thing. These sloths, the eyesight is not really good. Most of their sense that they use is a sense of smell and hearing. So I did take a shower today, so they're not too bothered, but they have a great sense of smell and hearing. So they can definitely hear me talking. They can hear the geese on the geese on the background. They can definitely hear the macaws in the background and all the noise that is going on around in Toucan Rescue Ranch. But that's what they will use to move around, this sense of smell. And that's why Eclipse, that is this one, is doing. She's, as you probably can see, using her nose and touch it on the branches to see what's in there, if there's food, if the branch is getting too thin. So if the branch is getting too thin, she won't go that way because she can fall. But it's still learning. So as you probably can see, she's actually going into the lean part of the branch. So I need to be really attentive and careful, just in case if she goes on a branch that might break. No, you shouldn't be going that way. No. All right, so I'm just gonna allow her to go on a different branch. So I'm just helping her go up because that branch might break. So I'm just helping her out because she's still learning. All right, sorry, just a minute of focus.
Focus away, man. It's important stuff.
Yeah. All right. All right. So as you can see, oh, all
You can
right.
do it. You can do it.
So she's still struggling, but she's going. So as you can see, I'm holding right here. I don't. Is my video stopped?
No, your video is great, Daniel. Just take your time, man. Focus on that. You can move the camera away if you
All
need
right.
to. Save the
That's
sloth.
fine. All right. So as you can see, I was holding it here because this can easily break as so. So that could happen. She was there. So just help, just giving a hand. But now she's fine. So yeah, we said it's off. But it's fine. So that's what she's learning. She's learning on what type of branches she needs to move on, which ones are risky, and which ones are not. So this is a great practice. And like I said, we have a lot of volunteers, as you probably see on the background, just moving around all the time to check them if they're doing the right thing. But as they're getting older, obviously they're going to learn just as you learn how to count up to 10, and then you learn how to count up to 50, and then up to 100, and then to 1,000, and then up to 1,000,000. So it's kind of the same thing with the sloths, but instead of counting, they actually just test branches. So okay, so we're gonna go on this branch, and then we're gonna go on this one. Now these sloths, they're sadly endangered. Although the organization that classify them, they say otherwise. They say that no, they are considered least concern. But we as an organization, we think that they are endangered, and there's like three reasons. The first one is poaching. So sadly, there's a lot of people. Oh, you're getting too close, Clips. Ooh. Yeah, she's testing a lot of the branches. So how's the video quality? Just to check, because on my screen it's getting.
It's perfect, Daniel. Like
Oh.
we're seeing into the soul of the sloth. It's amazing.
All right, perfect. Just that in my screen is getting like frozen, but perfect. If you guys can see, that's awesome. So yeah, Clips, that might be the best branch for you. Let's move over here. Come on, Eclipse. Yeah, as you can see, she's quite an explorer, which is great. She just needs to be careful. And you probably can see right here that they have kind of like a tail. So these sloths, when they go to the bathroom, they use that tail to dig a hole, and that way they will poop there. So, and then they will hide the poop. That way, the possible predators are going around, they won't realize, or it will be more difficult for them to realize that the sloths are actually there. So what are you doing, Eclipse? I think that she's trying to go on the ground. So yeah, we're gonna keep a close eye on her. In the meantime, we're gonna move to Luna, and their metabolism is really, really, really slow. So a whole meal, for example, it can take up to a whole month to digest. So it's definitely really, really slow. And that's the reason why the sloths, they will only go to the bathroom once a week. And sometimes they can even hold it for up to 2 weeks. So the sloths, they do have the energy. It's just that they are moving really slow, not only because their stomach and their intestine is taking a lot to digest those leaves, but also because they want to save energy for digestion. Because breaking down leaves, it takes a long process. It's not as easy as other fruits, for example, or if you're eating papaya, or if you're eating banana, for example, that it would take way, way fast to go through your digestive system. And that's why cows, you always see them like doing that thing. I forgot the how to say it in English. I believe that is Roman. That is constantly eating and eating the same food over and over. So they just bring the leaves or the grass that they ate back from one part of their stomach, and they chew it and chew it and chew it and chew it. And they have different chambers under like different like chambers on their stomach. So that way they can process the food or those leaves better. It's the same thing with the sloths. The sloths, they have different chambers, up to 4 chambers, if I'm not wrong. So that way they can digest all those leaves, but that would take a lot of energy. So they're saving that energy for digestion. Also, Eclipse managed to get to the ground, so there you go. And as you can see, they're not good in the ground. They actually, these are the claws. They're not paws at all. They're mostly for being on the tree. So the sloths are what we call arboreal, which means that they live 99% of their time or of their life on the trees. Going to the ground is actually really dangerous, especially in the wild. And that's what we encourage Eclipse to be on the trees all the time. Because going in the ground is where you can find most of the predators, right? So, for example, snakes sometimes can be really dangerous for the saws. Also, ooh, just one second. So also the parrots. Sorry, the parrots. I'm saying the parrots as predators. What am I saying? So the jaguars, for example, the ocelot. They are the main predator of the sloths, at least in the Pacific and in the Caribbean side. And it used to be the harpy eagle, but sadly, the harpy eagle is believed to be functionally extinct in Costa Rica. That means that we is rarely seen and they only come into the country very rarely from Panama. You can still find the harpy eagle, the biggest in the world, in South America, but not anymore in Costa Rica. So they don't have a lot of predators, but going into the ground, it is really dangerous. So I totally forgot because I was focusing on Eclipse not getting falling on the ground too hard. Um, and I was talking about the threats that these guys have, like regarding human threats. So in Costa Rica, we have 4 million people humans, but or people humans. That sounds really redundant. Humans, but also 1 million dogs going around in the rainforest and in the streets. So they are considered, at least the stray dogs, an invasive species. So these guys, they get attacked quite often, especially when they go to the ground by the dogs. Also, they get hit by cars, and they also get they also get um, hit by cars and electrocuted. So sadly, the paralyzed in Costa Rica, they are not like isolated at all. And the problem with this is that for a sloth, a power line will look just exactly like a vine. So there's a project in the Congress that is trying to pass that it will make electrical companies to put isolation, to put some cover in every single power line in the country. So that way, no animal will get ever electrocuted. But as the Congress is in here in Costa Rica, it's really slow and it will take really, really like actually the Congress resembles like a lot to a sloth. They're really, really slow. So we need them to be quite fast like a jaguar, so we can protect the sloth. But they get electrocuted quite often. Um, so yeah. Also, another cool thing is that the fur it helps them a lot, not only to stay warm, but also to have algae and a bunch of organisms on their fur. So one type of organism that these guys have is algae. Oh hi. So it's algae and moss. So the algae and moss is perfect for camouflage because these guys they're gonna be really high up on a tree, like right over there. And also they're gonna be covered by this algae, so they're gonna look like a green ball. And they're gonna move as slowly as they possibly can. It's just that Eclipse is moving a lot because she's an explorer. Um, and oh no, Eclipse, that's actually the wrong branch. You should go into a different one. Yeah, now she's gonna realize that I just broke that branch, so that's not an option anymore. There you go. Yeah, that's a better branch. Um, so, so yeah, and they will have this amazing algae and mud that will help them to get camouflage. Now she's getting into a branch that is getting weak. So come on, come on, go higher. Come on. Ooh. Yeah, Eclipse is really, really active. Sometimes more than a normal three-finger sloth. I would say three-finger sloths are not this active, but she's definitely one to explore. So yeah, talking about the algae and all this kind of stuff, it's perfect for camouflage. But they also have, no, all right, just guys, give me 1 second.
Take your time, Daniel. Eclipse is a
All right, there we
rebel.
go.
The most rebellious sloth live.
She's been a tough one today.
You
Come on,
totally
Eclipse, you can do it by yourself. Come on.
and
You're getting older.
it's
Ooh, all right, just guys, give me 1 second. I just need to attend this. All right.
This is the fun of live animal interactions for anyone who's joining us for the first time. You
Sorry, I cannot hear real well. I cannot hear you, Jesse.
That's okay.
Come on. There you go. You can go up, up, up. There you go. All right, guys, just give me 1 second.
Take your time, Dave. Don't worry, man. Here, while you're doing that, I'll bring across on the screen a place where people can learn more. So, toucanrescueranch.org. Again, amazing things, lots of amazing animals, not just sloths at the Rescue Ranch. So check that out. Check out our YouTube channel as well. We've done a ton of programs with Rescue Ranch on otters, toucans, macaws, more sloth content, and more. You can check that out.
Just get in there.
How's it going?
She's struggling. Well, I'm struggling. But there she go. Oh, all right, you got it. Oh, that was a bit intense. Sorry about that, guys. But wow, Eclipse, you are challenging today. Usually the three finger sloths are not like this, but this is actually a really good sign because that proves that she's really, really active and that she can be released way sooner than we think. So that's a really good sign. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
Jesse, I can barely hear you. I used to hear you really, really well, but the volume right now is really low.
Okay. So we'll start with questions. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit, Daniel, and I can always type questions in the chat bar if that helps. But what I'll do is I'll go to Miss Nilvo's class, joining us in Los Lunas, New Mexico, as our first live teacher. So I want to go to her, bring her into the broadcast. Hi, Miss Nilvo.
Hello. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Hi.
Oh, good. You can hear us, Daniel. That's perfect. So
yeah, Nilvo, I just put my ear really close to the phone.
Man. Do you have a question for us, Miss Nilvo, from your class?
Yes. So my class is a bunch of third graders. And one of my students, we were watching information on your webpage, and some of the questions that they have are, what kind of injuries are the most popular with the sloths, and why do you think that these injuries are happening? And how much does it cost to care for each animal when they have these injuries?
All right, so that's a really great question. So the most type of common reasons why they come here is they get hit by cars, so they get fractures from this. They also get electrocuted. So sometimes we have to amputate their arm. As you can see in the case with Luna, she doesn't have her eye because she lost it when she got hit by a car. And the other reason is that they get bitten by dogs. We had a case around like a year ago with Chili. He was a two-finger sloth. And what happened to him is that apparently a dog or something else attacked him. So he lost part of his face. But as gruesome as that sounds, we were able to recover that part of his face with tilapia skin and also stem cells. And we thought that he lost his eye, but his eye was just inside of the skull. And as soon as the skin recovered, his eye popped out. So that was really, really incredible. So that's one of the most extreme or hard cases. Where we receive animals that get electrocuted and we have to do a surgery, and that definitely costs a lot of money. Sometimes it costs, for example, dog recovery costed, I believe, $4,000 or so because of the stem cells and everything. And all that money came from donations. We're basically run by donations. Right now we're close to the public, so we're relying on virtual tours and you guys donating, so we can keep doing this. So yeah, the cost can be up to $40,000. The average, it can be $500 when we need to do x-rays. And sometimes it actually costs $0 because sometimes we will receive saws that they go into people's houses and they call us and they're like, oh my God, I have a saw in my house. What should I do? And then we just tell them to put them in a kennel, put them in a box, bring it here, be really careful because the two-finger sloths can be really aggressive. We just check them out in the clinic. Usually when they go into someone's house, they're totally fine. And then we just take them in the rainforest that we are in the border of the biggest national land park. So we just release them here, and it literally costs us nothing. So yeah, it can cost us between $0 to thousands of dollars, depending on the case.
Fantastic. Thanks, Daniel. Just a quick note, your audio was breaking up a little bit there. I'll let you know if it keeps happening, but we should be good. We got the vast majority of that, which is great. So I'm going to bring in Miss Michael's class, joining us in Glenview, Illinois now. So if you want to come in with a question for us, go for it. Oh, you're muted. Sorry. It wants to work. There we go. Perfect.
We watched one of your videos on YouTube about a two-fingered sloth named AD, and she was electrocuted, and the students wanted to know whether she could be rehabilitated, whether it looked like she was going to be able to be released, and whether you knew how she had been electrocuted.
All right, so just to tell me if you can hear me now well.
Yep, we're perfect right now.
All right, so yes, she got electrocuted. You said oatmeal, correct?
You said the 80, the AIDE.
Okay, 80. Yes. So it's just that we have another one that is oatmeal that we have over there. So 80 got electrocuted, and she thankfully was able to be released with no major issues. The problem is that sometimes we do need to do some amputations, but even without an arm, they are released back into the wild because they learn how to survive and they learn how to adapt by moving just with three limbs. But yeah, she was able to be released back into the wild, and that happened. I believe that was a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So I want a quick note, actually, a couple quick notes. One is you talked about donations as being really integral to what you guys do there. And again, I mentioned at the beginning that we've been a real partner of the Toucan Rescue Ranch and highlighted all the great work they've been doing for years. So if you're keen to donate, I'll just bring up the link on the screen. You can check this out on their Toucan Rescue Ranch site as well. But it's a really remarkable organization. We're always happy to give classes the opportunity to help support the work you're doing when we can. I also want to note we've got classes joining us online and on YouTube in California, in Miami, all across Arizona. So welcome if you're in Tucson, Miami, North Carolina, Ontario, and more. Really nice to have a broad, diverse audience here. So thanks so much for tuning in. And now let me just take a quick question from YouTube. So Daniel, one of our big questions is about how fast sloths are, needless to say. That's a big question. So I want to ask, how fast can sloths get and how fast can they eat? So is there a speed of eating that we can share?
So sadly, we don't have any food for them right now. So I'm not going to be able to show them how fast they eat, but they can eat a leaf that it can be as wide as that bucket over there in about 5 minutes. So that is really fast. And they also can move on the branches as fast as a cat when they're threatened or when they are like in severe danger, So they can move as fast as a cat, like pace or almost running between running and walking. That's how fast they can move. So it's really, really impressive coming from a sloth, because most people find the sloths really, really slow, but they can be fast if they need to.
Yeah. Well, and as we saw with the clips today, they can be fast the moment they're on camera and just really, rise to the occasion. I'm going to take one more quick YouTube question before going back to our live teach one from Amy on Facebook. She wants to know, they seem really curious, Daniel. Is that right? Like, are these animals that are really excited to explore their environment and get out there?
Yes and no. So when they're babies, yes, they're really curious to explore, to pretty much find everything, just as regular babies, or like even like dog puppies. So it's just the same thing, but in the wild, when they get to adulthood, they're exploring. That will be almost done. So they will stay as still as possible. The only reason why they will move from a tree to a different one, it will be because they want to mate, or because they want to access to a different source of food, or if there's danger. But when they're adults and in the wild, they don't move, and they're not as curious as these guys right now. That only happens when they're babies.
Fantastic. What a great answer. So the sloths, what you're saying, are perfectly suited to social distancing. Like they are just killing it during COVID times. They can home and
Yeah, they're perfect. They're perfect at that. Yeah.
deliver right in the tree. Perfect. Well, I'll go back to our live teachers. Miss Nilvo, if you want to come back into the broadcast and share another question with us, go for it.
Sure. We always try to look at STEM career exploration. And a question that we have is, what type of STEM professionals besides the volunteers work there? What specific people do you need at the ranch to make sure they're taking care of all of these animals that you're bringing into rehab?
Yes. So, for example, we have different internships. So we have animal specialist internships. We also have vet technicians. We have vets. So we have biologists. We have vets in here. But that's pretty much it. Those are the two specialists, if you will, that we need regarding their like taking care of their diet and surgeries and all of that. But regarding their daily to today like schedule, like cleaning or preparing food, doing enrichment. That for those of you who don't know what enrichment is that it's just like giving your dog or a dog a toy. So is that it's a technique to keep the animals entertained. So we give them toys, we give them food in toilet paper rolls, for example, on the macaws. So for that, anyone can just come here and do that. They receive a brief training up to a week. We call it brief, but a week is a lot compared to other places. So anyone can come here and do volunteering. So if you're studying, for example, if you're an administrator, or if you're an accountant, or if you are, I don't know, you can be whoever that you can come here and do volunteering. But the internships, you do need to have some background in biology, in marketing. For example, we have an internship in marketing, or in vets.
Fantastic. We always love highlighting careers here as much as we can. So many of the students that tune in would love to have such cool careers like yours, Daniel. So any opportunity we get to highlight how you can get into that field is really, really important. A quick note too, that all year long, especially for high school students, but really applicable to everyone, every week we're going to be releasing a new video highlighting an amazing STEM career, 15-minute videos or so, just a quick showcase of what it took to end up in some really cool STEM careers, and some Q&A with some really amazing researchers and explorers. So do check that out throughout the year, and we'll be highlighting that in our newsletter. Miss Michael, if you have another question for us, I'll bring you back into the stream here and go for it.
Oh, we have lots of questions always.
Perfect.
Rosalie wanted to know, is pollution a big problem in Costa Rica? You've talked about sort of car collisions and electrocutions and the dogs, but is pollution a problem?
Yes, definitely pollution is a problem, but thankfully it's not an important one, at least not for the sloths, at least not for the animals. Thankfully, Costa Rica, and most of the people know Costa Rica for being green, which is partially true. We do have a lot of issues that we need to address. The pollution is a problem, but definitely not one of the most important, thankfully. So, for example, in the rivers, the problem with the pollution there is not like plastic, it's mostly from plantations. So otters, that we have otters in Costa Rica, tropical river otters, and obviously a lot of fish. They get pretty much poisoned by fertilizers and pesticides that pineapple plantations use. So if you want to help Costa Rica and help the animals, a great way to do it is by trying, if you can, to buy organic food. And yeah, also palm oil. You can look at whatever product you buy in the ingredients that says palm oil. They use a lot of fertilizers in there, and also pesticides end up in rivers. But thankfully, pollution like air pollution, we have a lot of, again, before the pandemic, we had like car restrictions. So only one type of car, or whatever your number on your plate is, you can go into the inner city in Costa Rica. So people are encouraged to take the train, are encouraged to take the bus. So the air pollution is not a problem here, at least not a big one. And also the water pollution is also minimal because where we get the water from, that is from underwater sources and for upper rivers in the mountains, those places are national parks. So we don't have a big pollution problem. Yes, there is, but thankfully there's not a massive pollution like in bigger cities.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Daniel. So I want to pass along a quick question from YouTube, and then we'll go back to our live teachers for one more to wrap us up. So Miss Place, who's joined us for so many over the last month from Miami, Florida, welcome back in. She wants to know about sloths sleeping. Like, I think a lot of us, when we think of sloths, we think of a lot of sleeping, a lot of napping. How often do sloths sleep during the day?
All right, so that's a really good, great question. So, for example, these guys are the three finger sloths. They are what we call diurnal. So, just like humans, we are diurnal. So that means that stay active during the day. Oh, wow, you're doing some. Okay, wow, showing off some pull-ups there. So, so these guys they are diurnal, so they will sleep during the night, mostly. And in average, both species of sloths they will sleep between 10 to 15 hours a day. People think that they sleep between 20 to 22, but in reality is that they sleep way less than that. So yeah, between 10 to 12 hours a day or at night. Like the other like the other sloths, the two finger sloths, they are nocturnal, so they're the opposite.
Perfect. Thanks, Daniel. And by the way, again, we are getting like this epic sloth workout session. We're gonna, just take this clip, put it on YouTube later, and hopefully inspire some real activity for students.
Yeah, that was some good pull-ups.
What I'll do now is bring Miss Nilvo's group back in. So welcome back in from New Mexico. If you have one more question for us, go for it.
Yes, I have a couple questions, but I'm trying to pick out the ones that the kids really want. One of the big ones that they want to know, and I think you kind of talked a little bit about it, but maybe you can talk more. They want to know if a sloth can swim or smile. So can they do either one of those things?
I like it.
So that's a really good question, by the way. So first of all, they cannot smile. They have a permanent smile. So that smile that you see is always there. We like to say in Costa Rica that is because of the pura vida style. That means pure life. So enjoying the life. But the fact is that it's a permanent smile. So that can be tricky. So we strongly discourage you from having a sloth as a pet or touching one in a zoo because you won't realize that they're getting stressed because they will have that smile. So it looks like they're smiling, but they might be stressed. When they get stressed is when they're trying to attack. And then the other question is about, oh my God, I completely forgot the other one. And swim. So yes, the sloths are really good swimmers. They will only go in the water if it's completely necessary. But they're actually really good swimmers. They're actually way better in water than in like in the land, or like on the ground. So, and that is because in the rainforest, well, it's the rainforest, so there's a lot of rivers. So if they need to cross from a point A to point B, and there's a massive river that separates those points, they need to be able to swim, and they need to do it fast because again, they're going to be susceptible to predators in the rivers. Like sometimes crocodiles or alligators can be a problem, so they need to swim fast, and they're really, really good swimmers.
Fantastic. I'm actually going to try and find a video. There's a BBC series that has footage of sloths.
Yes.
Try and find that for you, Miss Nilvo. And I really like that you brought that up, Daniel. So you mentioned it in all the broadcasts with us, but it's really important when you travel to tropical countries, whether that's Mexico, Central or South America, or around the world, don't support people that are having you hold and have animals on you. It's not something that animals want to do. It's not something that they like, and it can be really harmful to support that sort of industry. National Geographic's actually done a lot of work in the last couple of years highlighting sort of the wildlife selfie trade. So just try and be cognizant of that, look up those resources, and find out other and better ways that you can support conservation of wildlife in amazing places around the world. So I'll check out that video. While I'm looking for that, I'll bring back in Miss Michael for one more question. So if you want to join us and go for it. Oh, you're muted again. Let's unmute you. It likes to mute you. I don't know why. There we go.
Our class knows I'm always muting myself and not coming out of it. So Kevin wanted to know about national parks in Costa Rica and their role in conservation. How many national parks are there, and are they helping to preserve the habitat for the animals?
Great question.
Yes. So it's going to be quite a. I'm gonna try to summarize because well, this one is going on the ground. And where is? Oh, so while I explain, I'm going to show you a clips. So I'm going to try to summarize the answer as much as we can. But yeah, national parks are a great way to protect the animals, including the sloths. In Costa Rica, we have, if I'm not wrong, 24 national parks and a bunch of biological reserves, plus other protected areas as well. The problem is that when you create, for example, or at the beginning, like 50 years ago, when we started to create national parks, at the beginning, they didn't consider that animals moved. They thought that somehow, I don't know how they consider this, or did not consider this, that the animals were just going to stay within the boundaries of the national parks as if they know the borders. So the problem at first is that there was a lot of national parks that were really far in between them. So then a lot of biologists and a lot of organizations started to work on corridors. So corridors are basically like semi-protected areas that will connect a national park to another one. So that way the animals can move from those areas safely without a lot of population. So right here in Toucan Rescue Ranch, where we are located, the municipality or the local government is actually trying to work with other municipalities to create a corridor that goes from our mountains to the Braulio Carrillo National Park all the way to the Pacific. That is around 80 kilometers away through a corridor that it would include rivers. And that would include cleaning rivers, reforesting in this area so the animals can move. We also have kind of like a small central park or a version of Central Park in here in Costa Rica. And they did a corridor between that Central Park to the Carara National Park that is in the Pacific. And when that corridor started to work, we started to see a lot of animals in the Central Park that is called La Sabana that we're not used to see before. So corridors and national parks and private reserves are crucial. In the around 60s and in the 50s, Costa Rica, the whole territory was covered only 29% by forests. Right now, we are up to 59%.
Wow.
And the current government, that is a really good one, by the way, in my opinion, they're working to, by the end of their administration, that is going to be in 2 years, by getting that percentage up to 62% of the country covered by forest.
Wow.
So it's definitely working, and it's a crucial way to protect the animals. Yes.
Fantastic. What a great question. And I'm so glad we got that in. And part of the resource pack that I passed along to teachers ahead of time, I highlighted some of Costa Rica's conservation efforts. So do check that out as well. Alongside the Galapagos, Rwanda, some other amazing countries around the world, they're one of the real success stories for conservation. So if wherever you're joining from around the world, check out Costa Rica's efforts to improve their biodiversity conservation efforts, and you'll really get some great stories in that. So do check that out. Before we wrap up with Daniel, this has been such a fun presentation. I just want to take the chance to highlight one of our own projects that we're doing all September long. I do believe our teachers that are joining live are part of this already, but we are doing the Backyard Bio Initiative. So if you ever get a chance to go to Costa Rica, see the Toucan Rescue Ranch, it's amazing. There's some incredible animals there. I've always wanted to go, and I hope when we safely can, we all get a chance to do so. But wherever you're joining from around the world, in your own backyard, in your own neck of the woods and local parks, there's amazing wildlife out there. So on the screen, we have our Backyard Bio website, the Twitter hashtag that we're using, and the iNaturalist page. So all ways that you could submit and share images of wildlife that you capture close to home. We're trying to encourage thousands of kids around the world to take part. So do check that out. Daniel, let me turn it back to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Is there any last message you want to share with kids about how they can get involved, engage, and learn more about all the amazing animals you guys have at the Rescue Ranch?
Yeah, so first of all, we wanted to thank you, everyone, for joining in. It's definitely a pleasure to have you with us, at least virtually. So, you guys visited Costa Rica today from the comfort of your home or wherever you're located right now. And education is so important because it's what prevents and it keeps these animals from being in cages or from being pets. So, if you can take one thing from today, if I would take something from today, is that animals definitely are not pets, including the sloth. So hopefully you learn that. And Toucan Rescue Ranch, like I said before, and just like Jesse said as well, we're relying on donations, especially right now because we're close to the public. So if you guys can go on our website, you can also join one of the tours. You can follow us on social media, and you can share this experience with your friends so they can join in the next session with exploring. So that way, more people can know about us, and we can continue our mission. And a great way that you can help these sloths and the animals from the comfort of your house is I'm going to give you two advices. So the first is to tell your friends that sloths are not pets. They're not pets at all. And the second, which is going to be a bit surprising, is that if you want to protect otters and fish, don't buy soap. I know that's a weird advice, but do not buy soap that has plastic exfoliants. I'm going to quickly explain that to you.
Yeah.
So if you ever use that soap that has those plastic things so it can exfoliate your skin and make your skin soft, please do not buy them. You can use natural things like shells that have shells on them. Because all those tiny little plastic that we call microplastic will end up in the fish, and then the otters will eat that, and then they can get killed. So a great way to help the animals, the fish and the otters of Costa Rica and of your local area is to just buy soap with natural ingredients. That's a
Amazing.
great way to help the animals. Um, so yeah, just please spread the word, and thank you guys so much. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. And again, some unexpected advice, but we really appreciate that. All September long, we're going to be highlighting ocean plastics, including microplastics. So lots of great sessions coming up. We have our whole Esri Google or Esri map, story map thing that we're going to be sharing all month long. We just put that out in our newsletter. So lots of great things to learn, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Miss Nilvo, Miss Michael, I'm going to bring you into the stream to say goodbye with me. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Jesse, as always.